Latest on COVID status and injury updates, plus questions about which young Islanders player has the most upside, all that and more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Everybody, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could join us today to talk a little Islanders hockey, and thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, and I'll tell you, it is really a pleasure to be able to bring you this podcast every day and just talk a little Islanders hockey with people who really know and love the team and the sport. We've got a busy show today. We're going to give you the latest updates from Islanders practice. Yes, no games, but they still are practicing. We'll have the latest health updates, COVID updates, injury updates, plus some mailbag questions from our listeners and regarding trade deadline stuff, young players and their ultimate potential. Whole lot to discuss on that. We've also got our Islanders birthday of the day, a defenseman who played for the Islanders about a decade ago, and a whole lot more, all coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. If you've got something Islanders related on your mind, you have a question, a comment, a topic that you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to send us an email. The email address is lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And we've got two mailbag questions today. So, again, always great to hear from our listeners. Also, you could follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYRVSNYI, and we'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings. And we are also, or I am also live tweeting during every Islanders home and road game. And always great to hear from fans and interact with them during games and really any time. So please feel free to get in touch. I'll give you some instant analysis, and always great to talk hockey during games. Let's talk about this practice on Monday, and the Islanders, not going to play for another 12 days or so, but getting healthy. And one of the big benefits of this cancellation of this 4-game Western Road swing is the fact that the Islanders can use it to get healthy. So Kyle Palmieri, who hasn't played since December 16th, that's, 2.5 weeks ago. Brock Nelson, who was in COVID protocol starting on December 28th, both skated with the team at practice on Monday. And I'll tell you, this is a very good sign, and it means that a player like Palmieri, who is injured, will miss less games. And even Brock Nelson, who is, coming out of COVID protocol, will miss less games. Sebastian Aho also, he is the only player still in COVID protocol. But again, the Islanders have until January 13th when they resume play. Barry Trotz still not with the team, taking care of personal business, and hopefully whatever it is nothing serious. But Lane Lambert, with the quote about practice, he says, it gives us an opportunity. The games are going to come and practice time is going to be limited, so we're pretty excited at the opportunity to work on stuff that we haven't been able to work on because of the games and because we haven't had the full group with injuries or with COVID. We're in a pretty good situation from that standpoint now. So the things that we can work on now, and we can use this time to our advantage. And I think that is important for the Islanders to do that. Now, one other injury update. Ryan Pulock, continuing to rehab his lower body injury, resumed skating the day after Christmas when the Islanders came back from the holiday break. Still no timetable for Pulock to rejoin the lineup. But again, the postponement of this West Coast swing means fewer games missed for Ryan Pulock. And, originally it was supposed to be 4 to 6 weeks. We're past the 6-week mark now. But hopefully Pulock will be healthy enough to start playing again in another 10 days when the Islanders resume action. And just to sort of get back to what the Islanders are doing in practice this week and to expand, on what Lane Lambert said. Working on things like the power play, which has been clicking a lot more lately. Working on the penalty kill. Working on the exit from the zone. How to clear the puck. How to get the puck moving out of the zone and transition well onto the rush. All of these things are things that the Islanders are going to have to work on now. And the fact of the matter is, they're not going to be able to work on them once play resumes. We talked about it on yesterday's show that the Islanders are going to be playing pretty much a game every other day between January 13th when they resume play and the end of the season on April 29th. Maybe even a little bit more than a game every other day. So the practice time, when you add in travel and morning skates, the practice time is going to be limited. So the team has got to work on things like the power play, the breakout, the transition game, the penalty kill, the time to do that, and maybe even also to experiment with some line combinations when everybody is finally healthy again. The time to do that is now. Here's what Cal Clutterbuck had to say about it. He said, "It's an opportunity for us to keep hammering away at some of the things that have plagued us. You don't ever get an opportunity to string this many practices together in January in an NHL season normally. So really, it's a kind of blessing for us. We're going to go out there and work at what we need to work at so that when the puck drops, we are prepared." And, truer words have never been spoken. That is something that, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's what the Islanders have to do with this situation. Nobody wants to have this long a break where you're going 11 days without a game, and then you had 10 days in between games with the holiday break and the extended postponements and everything else. That's not desirable, but you take the situation and you look at the positives. Your team gets healthy. Your team can practice. You can work on your line combinations, work on your power play, work on all the things that really can help this team get back into business and take care of what they need to take care of in order to be ready when play resume and be cohesive and sharp and really just get the job done. So hopefully that is what's going to happen. And, we will keep you up to date on the latest from practice every day. When we come back, a couple of emails. We do a mailbag on this Tuesday, and we can do mailbags as you want. Those email questions. We've got that. We've got our Islanders birthday of the day and a whole lot more coming up on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Got beard? Get primal. You heard me right. Got beard? Get primal. If you or someone you care about has a beard, it needs to get primal. Maybe you're that guy who has never considered the benefits of treating your beard with product, but Primal Origin Oils will stop the itch and make your beard look healthy and groomed. The products are free from harmful synthetic ingredients and with a low impact on our planet. Primal Origin Oils makes balms, oils, and whipped butter that are renowned as the best feel and beard products available. All products are fair trade certified and handcrafted in the USA. The combo kits make a great holiday gift, and if you're shopping for yourself, you'll be glad you did. We know that every company claims to have the best, but Primal Origin Oils challenges you to compare their ingredients and the feel in the beard to the other products you've used. We promise you will see and feel the difference. Remember, the code LOCKEDON, that's one word, Locked On, gets you 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. Use the code LOCKEDON at checkout for 20% 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. All right, time now for our mailbag, and this one is from Dale in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Dale writes, "Hey, Gil, love your show. I have several questions below." I did email Dale back, but we're going to address one question two questions in particular. The first one, which we did touch on in the first segment, when do you think Ryan Pulock will return? I think there's a very good chance, Dale, that Ryan Pulock is back on January 13th when the Islanders face the Devils at UBS Arena. Again, barring some kind of a setback, which hopefully will not be an issue for Pulock at this point. And, originally the injury was 4 to 6 weeks. We're now past the 6-week mark. He's going to have almost 8 weeks before the next game is played. And I think that will certainly help him be ready to go. If he is ready to go, boy, does this team look solid defensively, because if you think about it, you have Pulock and Pulock as your top pairing. You add Noah Dobson, who has taken his game forward a step. Scott Mayfield has been steady. And then you have Green and Chara, the two veterans. And then you still have Robin Salo and Sebastian Aho sticking around. So I would still prefer to add one more puck-moving defenseman. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But overall, to have all 6 defensemen healthy and in the lineup, that is something that I don't think this team has had in quite some time. Dale asks another question here. Which Islander do you think has the most upside? And he listed Kieffer Bellows, Sebastian Aho, Robin Salo, Anthony Beauvillier. And I'm going to answer this in 2 parts. I think there's the short-term answer and there's the long-term answer. I think the short-term answer is probably Kieffer Bellows. I think that Bellows is a player because he shoots the puck, and this team needs more players who will shoot the puck. I think that would give him more upside, and he sort of fills a role that this team needs to fill. I think before this season is over, out of the 4 guys that you mentioned, Dale, that Bellows has the most potential to take that step forward. But for the long run, I think it's Robin Salo. And to me, Salo probably not quite ready for anything more than third pair duty right now. And I think the Islanders, we know the coaching staff, Barry Trotz and company, prefers to stick with veterans. And therefore, they're not ready to trust Robin Salo with a lot of minutes. The COVID situation and the injury situation gave Robin Salo some playing time that he really would not have otherwise had this soon in his career. Those circumstances, but overall, giving him a little more experience, getting him some action, I think was thing, and he had his much exploding group low forwards, and the physicality required that position, and then Mensman because of the judgment that's involved and the physicality that's involved. But look, it's been that he's at this point. Yes, in 9 games, he only has the 1 assist. He's a -4. So you're not looking at somebody who has stepped in and dominated. But at the same time, he is also someone who has showed a lot of potential, and that is a good thing. So, Dale, thank you so much for your question. Next, we have Don, who did not say where he was from, and he says, hey, Gil, Happy New Year. Appreciate the continued expert analysis. We agree 100% on the assessment of Noah Dobson. His skating, to me, has been the biggest difference. He's using his legs to make plays like a top offensive defenseman. It has been fun to see him grow. And Don, I agree 100%. with that. And in addition to the using his legs, it's knowing when to use his legs that I think has been great. And he goes on to say, one thing I have been most impressed with Dobson is his ability to close the gap on pucks dumped around the boards to opposing waiting forwards. Recently, he has been more aggressive pinching the boards and not only keeping the puck in, but also getting a piece of the man. It's a little thing, but it opens up the boards for a winger when he picks up the puck. This small play will open up more scoring chances and sustained pressure from that wing. And Don, that is a great observation. It's sometimes referred to, and this is not the only application of this saying, but it's sort of taking a hit to make a play. And that is definitely a thing in hockey. Sometimes it's forwards in the corner taking a hit, but making a pass just before they get hit. But in the case of a defenseman pinching, you sacrifice your body. You know you're going to get hit, but you keep the puck in, you tie up the forward, and you create a possible scoring chance for your forward on the play. So, yeah, Don, very good observation. Now he asks another question. I heard a bunch of rumors about the Isles adding Jacob Chychrun. I'm certain that's a Christmas wish. Chychrun is a top 5 or 6 D-man who is signed until 2026. On a more reasonable level, if the Isles can make a move in the standings, maybe someone like Andrew Kopp, who has come into his own this season, 25 years old, UFA at the end of the year. In my opinion, the perfect addition for this team would be Timo Meier, plays physical, shoots lights out, respectable in his own end, and only has one more year on his deal. But obviously, he would not come cheap, but they are bad and not going to win anytime soon. Obviously, Meier, where he's playing now. Your thoughts, and who would you like to see Lou acquire? Maybe you'd prefer a puck mover and give Green the scratch. I like the puck mover idea. And Don, thank you for the email and the question. Yeah, I think Dobson right now is the only puck mover among the blue liners. Pulock and Pulock are adequate at puck moving, but that's not their forte. Chychrun, to me, would be a good fit, but again, that contract is an issue. And again, with Timo Meier, as you said, Don, the $6 million cap hit hurts, and they would have to give up something in order to clear up that cap space. I think Chychrun is a good short-term solution. He can move the puck. He can play. I like Meier, but the price tag is a concern. Kopp might fit in a little bit better to the salary cap, but to me, again, it really depends on where this team is at when we get closer to the trade deadline. Right now, they're starting to win a little bit more, and that is the big positive that you take away. If they continue to play winning hockey, if they're getting points in 8 out of their next 11 games, let's say, if they go 5, 2, and 4, or 6, 2, and 3, something like that, and you start to move up in the standings, then you think about acquiring someone. If not, at the trade deadline, and Dale sort of asked this question, I think you move on from a guy like a Zdeno Chara or an Andy Green. I would bring in a puck-moving defenseman and then either Green or Chara, if you're still contending. Either Green or Chara sits maybe on alternate days. You keep them both fresh, and whoever's the hot hand makes it in the playoffs. Or if you trade one of them away as part of the deal, that solves the extra defenseman problem as well. So some interesting thoughts there. And Don, thank you again so much for the email. Great minds think alike, and I think your analysis of the Noah Dobson situation is spot on, and it's great to watch Dobson develop. When we come back, we have our Islanders' birthday of the day, a steady defenseman who played for this team a decade ago, and some more final thoughts about the Islanders during this break. All that and more still to come on the Locked On Islanders podcast. Time now for our Islanders' birthday of the day. And today is the 41st birthday of former Islanders defenseman Freddie Meyer. Meyer, not drafted, not a big guy, 5'10", 192, spent 4 solid years at BU and played well for Boston University, then made his NHL debut in 2003-2004, playing 1 game for the Philadelphia Flyers, spent most of the year with the Philadelphia Phantoms of the AHL, came to the Islanders midway through the 06-07 season, and spent some time there, had a second tour of duty, went to Phoenix for 2007-2008, and then again back to the Islanders through 2009, 2010, 2011, played for the Atlanta Thrashers, and then spent a year in the Swedish Elite League before hanging up his skates. 281 NHL games for Freddie Meyer, 20 goals, 73 points, 155 penalty minutes. He played in 6 playoff games, all of those for the Flyers, and added 1 assist. We're going to look at one of Freddie Meyer's back to March 16th, 2010. Generally in Vancouver, the Islanders taking on the Canucks. Dwayne Rollison and in the first period, the Islanders first, John Tavares and Matt both the assist at 6-8-2, 1-0 Islanders. Then with Mikhail Samuelsson off for roughing, the Islanders power play gets going, and John Tavares pumps in his 19th of the year. Blake Como and Franz Nielsen with the assists at 11:45. After the first period, Islanders with 2-0 lead. In the second, no score, but 15 minutes and 30 seconds, but then Matt Molson makes it 3-0. His 26th from Tavares and John Sim, and it's 3-0. But the Canucks bounce back with 2 goals in 2 minutes exactly. Kyle Wellwood, his 10th from Christian Ehrhoff and Mason Raymond, 18:35, and then 18:35, Alexander Burrows, his 32nd from the Sedin twins, Daniel and Henrik, and all of a sudden that 3-0 lead was 3-2. For Meyer, however, our Islanders' birthday of the day, gets his 4th of the year with just 8 seconds left in the second period. Tavares and Trent Hunter with the assist at 19:52, and the Islanders led 4-2. In the third, just 1 goal, an empty netter by John Tavares, his 20th of the year. Bruno Gervais, Islanders skate away with a 5-2 road win in Vancouver. And for our Islanders' birthday of the day, Freddie Meyer, 1 goal on his only shot, and he played 19 minutes, 32 seconds. So Freddie Meyer, 41 years old today. He is our Islanders' birthday. And by the way, in that game, Dwayne pretty well in goal, 35 saves. The Islanders were outshot this one. 37 shots on goal for Vancouver, only 20 shots on goal for Islanders. Luongo chased after the first 2. Andrew Raycroft made 7 saves in the third before the goal that ended the entire game and gave the Islanders the 5-2 win. Now, Freddie Meyer, again, one of those players, mostly a third pair defenseman, smart, efficient with the puck, but, you know, not going to make a lot of headlines. But if you watch him play game in and game out, you get an appreciation for what he can do. So happy birthday again, 41 years old, to Freddie Meyer. Telling you, the Islanders, this can really be, this break, a turning point for this team this season. This is the crossroads. And if the Islanders are able to put together a nice winning streak, or again, just, 7 games with, 7 games with points out of 10, go 7-1-2 or 7-2-1 in your next 10, they're right back in this playoff hunt. And believe me, it's going to be a dogfight to the end. Thanks for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We'll be back tomorrow when we will break down We have our weekly farm report, and we'll also have the latest news from Islanders practice. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets. It's your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. We'll be back tomorrow with more great Islanders insight. Until then, let's go Islanders.